Hello and welcome to this review of Royal Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey with Natural Flavors. And I don't even know what the name of this is. I don't know if it's Royal Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey with Natural Flavors or if it's just Royal Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey with Natural Flavors. See, that's how little I can find out about it. They have it on Specs website in Texas. I bought this in Texas, but not at Specs, at a different liquor store. And it was $7.99. I could tell you the liquor store if you needed to find out. So let me know. I'll tell you. Finest quality, really, for $7.99. The finest quality, and it's got a crown for some reason. It's bottled by Kentucky Distilling Company, Bardstown, Kentucky. But I know by looking at this that it's Heaven Hill, because Heaven Hill uses this symbol, whatever that's supposed to mean, on a lot of their products. I've got Kentucky Bow in the other room, and some others that have this. Okay, anyway, no website listing. They don't even have it listed on the Heaven Hill website, and their product specification says nothing. Can't get a trademark. I was trying to find when was the trademark first issued. That usually lets you know when it hit the market. Couldn't find it. Then I realized, wait a minute. There is no trademark. There's no indication, like, they usually put TM or R with a circle around it, registered, or they'll write it out, registered trademark United States Patent Office. Nothing. There's nothing. It's not even trademarked. They didn't even bother to pay the fee to get that done. They just put a drawing of a crown, and they bottled it. They might have been making this for years, for all I know. Here's another one I found in Arkansas, across the street from Texas, literally in Texarkana, across the 4-lane boulevard. This is called Quality House Blended Whiskey with Natural Flavors. So that's bourbon. This is blended whiskey with natural flavors. Bottled by Quality Control Distilling Company, Bardstown, Kentucky. But of course, it's Heaven Hill. Contains caramel coloring. I'll believe that. Our signet of quality. What's up with the crowns? I wasn't aware that Kentucky was ruled by a monarch, but apparently there's a king of Kentucky. Okay, or queen. We do get Quality House in Louisiana, but we get Quality House Kentucky blended whiskey. This is Quality House blended whiskey. Doesn't indicate Kentucky, and it's 70 proof. I thought whiskey had to be 80 proof. What's up with this 70 proof? So this is bizarre, extremely bizarre, and that was like $5.99. I could tell you the name of that liquor store. If you check with me, I'll let you know exactly where it is. Never saw a video review for this thing. Royal Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey, or is it Royal Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey? Well, it's copper. Now, if you read the regulations, Tax and Trade Bureau regulations, bourbon whiskey and straight bourbon whiskey are not allowed to have coloring added or flavoring. But this says bourbon whiskey with natural flavors. And I noticed this is happening more and more. I've seen more and more of these products on the shelves. I saw a Kentucky Tavern. It used to say Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Now it says Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey with Natural Flavors. 10 High used to say Blended Whiskey. Now it says Bourbon with Natural Flavors. There's a number of others. I'm not even going to try to think of them all. So I thought, did the regulations change? No, I don't believe so. I think what's happening is they're selling all these are blended. They went with like Kentucky Tavern. They dropped it from being straight Kentucky bourbon whiskey to making it a blended bourbon whiskey. which is allowed to have natural flavorings added and coloring, caramel coloring, does not have to be disclosed either. If you read the chart, it does not have to be disclosed. Although, you know, they don't discourage you doing that, and this company does it. So I'm getting that from Sazerac now. There's a number of Sazerac products saying that, and now Heaven Hills. So I guess the thing about it is like default. They're not required to say blended bourbon, because by default that's all it could be. You see, it couldn't be straight bourbon. It couldn't just be regular bourbon, because it would not be allowed to have the coloring or flavoring. But I'm not quite sure. If you got some insight, let me know. It's strange. Well, let's look. Yeah. It's got alcohol legs, but they're not dripping evenly. It's like medium spaced, wide spaced, and thin spaced, thin spaced. Okay, kind of ragged. I bet the product's kind of ragged. But if it's bourbon whiskey, whether it's blended or not, it has to be at least 51% corn. Blended bourbon has to be at least 51% straight bourbon. The other 49% can be even grain spirits, unaged grain spirits, up to 49%. That's allowed. You're getting corn, like whole kernel corn, without the salt, you know, and the sodium. You know what I'm saying? Just the corn itself. More like a corn meal. Could you take a bag of cornmeal and make it into bourbon legally? Well, the only requirement is that it's corn. The regulations, the specifications do not indicate what type of corn. So could it be even corn syrup? Once again, it doesn't say. You'd have to really get in deep into the industry. It doesn't specify a format of the corn. Charred oak, no, it must be used in very light, the level 1 char, which is allowed. It's a light oak, just a little light oak, but no char on the nose. It smells pleasant enough. I don't know what the natural flavoring would be. Maybe vanilla. I don't know. Let's go with the taste. Cheers. And from my knowledge, this is the first video review for this bourbon in the world. Huh? Tastes pretty stereotypical for inexpensive bourbon to me, like corn grits, oak, but not charred oak really. And I think that's probably because they're using level 1 char, not the level 4, the alligator char, which is so thick and heavy. Honeysuckle nectar, candy corn, water. I'm picking up good Kentucky limestone water though, that's for sure. Now, it doesn't say it's Kentucky bourbon. It could be from Indiana. It could be a blend of Indiana, Kentucky, Virginia bourbon. It just says, oh, I'm thinking of some other product from the other day. It says Royal Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey. Royal. I'm thinking the name of the product is Royal, and then the lesser writing is Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey. I don't know what to think, but I think that it's just confusing. So okay, it's all from Kentucky. My only guess is that if they're having natural flavors added, it could be like blending sherry, which is commonly used in American blended whiskeys, and vanilla extract. Now, it couldn't be artificial vanilla extract, which they sell at the store. It'd have to be natural vanilla extract, obviously, natural flavors. And what else it is, I do not know. But it's a pleasant tasting product. I'm thinking like waiting for the horror to come in, come into play. Like, oh, I can't believe how bad this is. It's actually pretty good. Smooth finish, and that's what they told me at Sazerac. They said they started adding natural flavors to smooth out the inexpensive, bottom shelf liquors that they sell. Yeah, it must be working. It's pretty smooth, medium bodied, pleasant, easygoing. You won't find this on the review websites. I can't take issue with it. It's not fabulous or like deep speculative. It's got so many intricate characteristics. It's nothing like that. But they had quite a few bottles on the shelf over there at that store, and I don't think they're going to stock it heavy if it's a bad mover. I don't see that happening. So I guess in that part of town, people coming in there and they're buying it. Same thing with this one in Arkansas. It's probably clipping out of there pretty fast, But 70 proof. Oh, that's too low. I mean, I was just appalled when I saw that. But anyway, how about I score the Royal Bourbon on its own merits, and then I'm going to try it with some ice in a moment here. It's all right. I mean, Heaven Hill blended bourbons, blended whiskeys like this thing over here, those can be pretty harsh and unpleasant. T.W. Samuels, just like every time I drank more of it, it just seemed worse. And Kentucky Bow is kind of shaky. Quality House, Clubhouse, it's the same thing, kind of shaky, but I got that for $5.99 a liter. Yeah, true story. I think I can still get it for that. Their blendeds are really shaky, but their bourbons, their regular bourbons are really good. I'm talking about Heaven Hill's regular bourbons, Larceny. Well, they make so many, you can't name them. Old Fitzgerald, I see that everywhere now. Old Fitzgerald, it must be good, $19.99 a bottle. But for $7.99, this is a winner, absolute dynamite winner. I'm going to go B plus, 89 out of 100. It's really that good. So very good and very cheap. It has to be, unless I'm missing something on the regulations. Kentucky blended bourbon whiskey, but it doesn't indicate that on the label. And I'm going to end this review by saying y'all go to Bardstown, Kentucky and tour the Heaven Hill experience. You don't really get to see the distillery, you get to see the experience. But let's try it with ice. I'm just getting the feeling that most people are not drinking this neat at room temperature. Most of the customers. They're probably not drinking it just with ice. They're probably mixing it with Delaware Punch, Yoo-Hoo, chocolate milk, V8, or whatever else they want to put with it, It's got that out the ice tray. Okay. It doesn't change. It just makes it colder. All right, so B plus, and I'm going to, very good, shockingly, because I thought it was going to be very, very bad. But I should have learned my lesson by now. I bought so many cheap bourbons and they've all been good. So there you go. So Laissez les Bon Temps Relais. We're going to end this review by saying, well, I already said about that distillery. And check me back later for another. Well, the next whiskey review in a few weeks is going to be Quality House. Woo. That one might be scary. Check me out for that one. Thank you.